What if the laziest person in the office is actually the most valuable one on the team? In 2026, a quiet shift is reshaping how the best companies measure work. The employees who avoid busy work, dodge long meetings, and shortcut every task are quietly outproducing the people grinding 10 hours a day. Stick around, because by the end of this video, the reason your most checked out coworker might be your company's secret weapon will be impossible to ignore. So why does looking busy still pay better than being effective? For decades, hustle culture told workers that long hours equaled real value. Type fast, stay late, answer every email at midnight, and the promotion would follow. But the 2026 workforce runs on something different. It's been called the cognitive economy, where ideas, systems, and automation create more value than raw hours ever could. The problem is that many managers haven't caught up. In a remote-first world, they still scan for green status dots, fast replies, and packed calendars. They mistake visible activity for actual value. A worker who answers Slack in 10 seconds looks productive, even if nothing important got done. Meanwhile, the quiet employee who built a script that does the same job in 2 minutes a day looks like they're slacking. Bill Gates once said he would always hire a lazy person to do a difficult job, because a lazy person will find an easy way to do it. That single line has become the blueprint for modern efficiency. Take Daniel. Daniel doesn't volunteer for extra work. He doesn't stay late. But every report his team needs somehow shows up on time, perfectly formatted, with no stress. His boss thinks he's coasting. His boss is wrong. So if hard work isn't the real signal of value, what is going on inside the head of someone like Daniel? What if laziness, the right kind of laziness, is actually a form of intelligence? Psychologists have started calling it the efficiency instinct. It's the brain's built-in drive to get the best result for the least effort. This is not the same as procrastination. Passive procrastination avoids the task entirely. Strategic indolence attacks the task, but only after finding the shortest path through it. A passive procrastinator scrolls their phone instead of starting a report. A strategic one stares at the wall for 20 minutes, then writes a small tool that finishes the report in one click, forever. The difference is the search. The lazy innovator is actively hunting for the path of least resistance. Brain research backs this up. The dopamine system rewards problem solving and pattern finding, not just task completion. That's why people like Daniel can't help themselves. When they see a clunky workflow, their brain itches. They start gamifying it, simplifying it, or breaking it down until it feels effortless. To a manager watching the clock, it looks like daydreaming. Inside the brain, it's a full engineering session. So if these workers are wired to simplify, what happens when you hand them the most powerful simplification tool in human history? What does a lazy employee do when they get access to an army of AI agents? They build, quietly and at scale. In 2026, autonomous AI agents and small custom scripts can handle scheduling, research, data cleanup, customer replies, and reporting. The tools are cheap. The advantage goes to whoever actually uses them. And the people who use them most aggressively are the ones who hate busy work the most. Call it the Automation Arbitrage. It's the gap between people still doing tasks by hand and people who've quietly handed those tasks to a machine. Daniel spends one afternoon wiring up an agent to pull weekly numbers, draft the summary, and send it to his manager every Friday. From that day on, his weekly report takes 0 minutes. Down the hall sits the grinder. The grinder is proud of the work. The grinder copies and pastes the same numbers into the same template every Friday for 2 hours. The grinder gets praised for dedication. But the grinder produces one report. Daniel's system could produce 1,000 without breaking a sweat. That is the difference between effort and leverage. The grinder trades time for output. The innovator builds something that produces output while they sleep. So if lazy workers are building these invisible machines, what does the work they do produce actually look like? Why do the simplest products almost always win? Because somewhere behind them, a lazy person refused to make things complicated. People who enjoy work for its own sake tend to over-engineer. They add features, layers, steps, and settings because building feels good. People who hate unnecessary work do the opposite. They strip things down. They ask, what can we delete and still have this work? This is the lazy advantage in product design. The cleanest apps, the smoothest checkouts, the one-click tools, almost all came from someone who could not stand friction. There's a name for this mindset. Some teams call it negative work. The idea is that removing something can be worth more than adding something. Deleting a confusing step from a sign-up flow can boost sign-ups more than any new feature. Cutting a meeting can produce more progress than scheduling 3. Daniel doesn't pitch big new systems. He pitches deletions. We don't need this form. This approval step can go. This dashboard nobody opens. Every time, the team moves faster. Every time, his manager is a little confused about what he actually did this week. So if his real contributions are invisible deletions and silent automations, how is any company supposed to spot talent like his before they lose it? How do you measure a worker whose best output is the work that no longer has to be done? This is the question reshaping management in 2026. Forward-thinking companies are dropping activity metrics like hours logged, messages sent, and tickets touched. Instead, they're tracking outcomes: revenue moved, time saved, errors reduced, customers retained. Under those metrics, a different kind of star appears. Quiet. Often unengaged in meetings, rarely the loudest voice. But their projects ship, their systems run, and their teammates' lives get easier. These are the high-potential innovators most old systems were designed to overlook. The cultural shift is starting to have a name: lazy innovation. Not laziness as in apathy, but laziness as in the relentless refusal to do anything a machine, a script, or a smarter design could do instead. Companies that reward lazy innovation are pulling ahead. They promote the Daniels. They give them budgets, tools, and time to think. The companies that don't are still handing gold stars to the grinders, watching their best builders quietly leave for somewhere that gets it. And the long view is bigger than any one office. As AI agents, automations, and smarter tools take over more routine work, human effort becomes a scarce resource. The future of work isn't about who can grind the hardest. It's about reserving human attention for the problems machines and shortcuts cannot solve. So why are the laziest employees often the best innovators? Because real laziness, the strategic kind, is just intelligence in disguise. It hates waste. It hunts for shortcuts. It builds systems instead of repeating tasks. It deletes instead of decorates. In a world where machines can do almost anything repetitive, the people who refuse to do repetitive work are the ones quietly designing what comes next. Daniel isn't slacking. Daniel is the future.